prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
99.9 WEFM.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
We're back with our political conversation series with Mrs. Laverne Gibson-Velox, the NDP's candidate for East St. George. And we're just going to go right back into our interview as we have a little bit of time left. Now, Mrs. Velox, if the date was to be announced that elections is this weekend, how ready is Mrs. Laverne Gibson-Velox?
I cannot say 100%, but I think that I have put in enough work in the last 4.5 years to be in a good place. And in a very good place.
So you're very confident that your constituents have confidence in you.
My constituents have been seeing me, and that is the difference. The constituents and we have a connection because I'm always around. I live in the constituency. I move around a lot, and I speak to a lot of people, and I think that is a big difference. I don't send people. I go to them myself. Some people seem to have a problem with the fact that I go out alone a lot, but what happens is that a lot of people appreciate the confidentiality that affords them. They know that when they speak to you, it's you they're speaking to in private, and not a lot of people hovering around listening, and then, whatever they say gets out. And a lot of people would be more honest with you on a one-on-one basis, as opposed to having other people around. A lot of the times they just say what what you want to hear. And that's not the best scenario, because at the end of the day, you crunching numbers and you want to know that you're ahead of the game.
You mentioned when you were at the bank, you had this open door policy, and you still have that open door policy now. Have you had persons coming to your home to have conversations about your candidacy, about the constituency, or they leave that for when they see you walking?
No, and I find that so strange, because I literally live on the road. and they would pass, and if I'm outside, sometimes I'm outside weeding someplace or doing something, and they, "Morning, Mrs. Velox, how are you?" We'd have a short conversation, and they keep up the good work, whatever, give me some positive vibes, and they move on. But to say, "Come and knock my door," no. But you see, they don't have to do that, because I'm always in the constituency, literally always within reach. And if they know they can't get to me, they would send a message by somebody, they would send a number, and I do return calls.
I don't know if some subliminal shots are being fired, I don't know if
Not really.
Not really.
No, I'm speaking about me.
All right. All right. So, given that you narrowly lost last election, and I noticed that you made mention of being in the constituency returning calls, what else do you have over your opponent?
I really don't know what I have over him. I know who I am. I know what I do. Because, okay, for instance, with the vaccination mandate, I packed boxes of food for everybody who was fired and distributed them, whether they belong to East St. George or not. I packed boxes of food, and, teachers, policemen, everybody got a box of food. Now, I have certain contacts, and from time to time, I distribute eggs throughout the constituency. The same way with the layers, when, once a poultry farmer, once the fowl has kind of slapped down on the lane, it's not feasible for them to continue feeding, so they give them out. Now I take them and I give them to people. People feed them and they provide eggs for them, or they eat them as meat. So I did a lot of that. I also give out a lot of food boxes, clothing. In Soufrière, I volunteered at the Caliqua,
I don't know, resource center.
Evacuation. There was an evacuation center there, but it was actually the hub of everything in East St. George. Mm-hmm. So I volunteered there, and even though the people who were there were not from East St. George, the people of East St. George saw me going there every day for like 5-6 weeks. And I wasn't sitting down, I was cooking. And yes, I do like to cook from time to time. I do like to cook. So, I get involved in other things in the constituency. I give books to the school libraries. I take like cases of notebooks to the school. Sometimes a child may not have, something. And those are the things I do basically. And when the schools have, like the Caliqua Anglican School, for a few years, I've been taking a day out of my life when they have their fundraisers, and I'll go there and cook for them all day. I go to sports meets. I go to a lot of funerals because, and I go to the funerals because generally I don't like to turn up, and it's because I got to meet the people during the time when all their families, and so it's a support thing. And not just to show your face because, they're in the constituency.
Okay. Your bio says that you are an advocate for economic growth. Well, your bio on the NDP's website, right? Mm-hmm. That you are an advocate for economic growth in the country. So in what ways would you or NDP seek to drive this economic growth?
As you know, we have our 4 pillars of the economy, and that has been fleshed out a lot during this campaign. But the economic growth I want to see is, the growth that is geared towards young people. Because if we are saying that we have 42% unemployment among youth, then something is wrong. And it means that we have to go after the young people vigorously and try to get them in a different mindset. Because there's poor relief, and you see a lot of young people on poor relief. I don't think it's good for them. It makes them maybe not want to work. But there is something called pride, and there's something called dignity and independence. And I think the young people need to be able to understand what that is, working for your own money, spending, and it's money that is going to be better than what you get from the poor relief. Because I know that since election is looming, a lot of people in East St. George have been put on that list. People who didn't necessarily qualify before because they probably were supporters of the NDP. They're now on the list, and I tell them, take it. It's additional money if easily, for the home. Because, at the end of the day, every cent counts. We live in a country now where food prices have gone up exponentially. Especially the simple things like vinegar that you use to wash your meats, and so all of a sudden vinegar is like twice time what it used to be, and that was one of the cheaper commodities on the market. And I would like to see the young people have a different mindset, and that is where our youth guarantee program comes into play, where you guarantee that after by the end of the first term, the young people either have a job, an apprenticeship, or that ability to learn a skill. And when I say skill now, it brings me to the new secondary school that is supposed to be built in Brighton. Belvedere. That is what is proposed. And based on a question that I had asked one of my colleagues to put forward in the parliament, it's going to be at the Huffles property where it used to be Huffles Ranch. And that is where it's going to be constructed. And I also asked, if it was going to have a technical and vocational wing. And yes, it's going to have that. So, that gladdens my heart, because then the people who are now just, not doing anything, walking up and down, can go there and learn a skill after hours so that they can earn their own money and be financially independent.
All right, so what we would do, we would open the phone lines, and the number to call is 457-9997, should you wish to ask Mrs. Velox a question. All right, so the phone lines are open at this time. All right, so while we wait for call, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say, while we wait for the calls to come in, what is your relationship like with the business people in your constituency? And I'm thinking about this in terms of if your party were to get into office and you may need the support of business persons for whatever reason to assist your various constituents. Do you have that relationship with them, or is that a work in progress?
You do know that St. George is it's like a tourist.
Okay, so we have a call, so we go back to my question.
But, all right, we take this one first. Hi, Queen's morning.
Good morning. If I had my way, the people on public assistance, those who are able-bodied, I would make them put in at least 8 hours of work a week, doing something here, maybe cutting grass or find something for them to do.
Yes,
able-bodied.
And you know that East St. George has a lot of that kind of work, because all the roadsides and so are usually overgrown, and like I said earlier, the drains are blocked, and it's not about this twice a year, back to school, Christmas, the stint that they get. It needs to be it needs to be more structured than that, so that the constituency could always look like if it's healthy. Because we have some serious drains, eh?
I tune in late, so this question might have already been asked. So if it's already asked, don't answer it. I'll listen back to the live and
go ahead.
Get the answer.
Ask your
what
question.
What would be the first 5 things you would do if you get elected into office? I'll listen to the answer off here if you didn't be asked the question before. Thank you. Bye.
All right.
5 things?
All right. I was actually going to tell you to answer 3, but he says 5. So what are the 5 things that your constituents could hold you to should you be elected?
The constituents could hold me to better infrastructure. That is one.
And by infrastructure, you mean just roads?
I'm talking about roads and drains and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they could hold me to at least putting something in place for the young people. We would like to, all the young people keep asking about a playing fields. And if you look around, East St. George doesn't have a lot of space for playing fields, not in the areas, like the people in Glen, and so they ask. But there is a hard court at Choppins that is not usually open, but I think it is marked for tennis, basketball, and netball. And maybe some of the things that we want to do is to introduce grassroots programs so that children understand that there are other sports besides football, because football is like predominantly the sport these days. No longer you pass Calico playing field and see cricket on Saturdays and Sundays. So, introduce them to different sports so that they can, because sports is one of those areas that you could grow economically from. And I don't think that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been capitalizing on that. So we need to, up our sports a little bit more, have more training programs.
Okay, so I think we got 2. We will wait for the other 3. I see we have a call. All right. Hi, Dave. Morning. You're going to have to be brief this morning, okay, Dave? Because we don't have a lot of time. Dave?
Yes, hello.
Morning. You're going to have to be brief this morning, okay? We press for time.
Man, you all have on an MP there or somebody.
Morning, Dave. How are you?
Hi, beautiful. I couldn't let you. I had to make my interjection. Yes, and I'm happy that you're up against the Prime Minister's son in your constituency. I am so happy because that's the man to beat, right? I thought I heard him said he had declared a national budget, something to that meaning for East St. George.
It was an East St. George.
I would like.
Dave?
Yes, I would like to know how that is going, and I don't know. I just have a positive feeling that you are going to win the East St. George seat. I hope I'm not disappointed. So you have all my support, man. It's time. Croix, as you said, was once a tongue, and I don't think it has lived up to that. So I think with your presence there, I can see a new breath of life coming into Croix and so on. So I wish you all the best. Thank you.
When it comes to the East St. George budget, we see in quite a bit of it with the fixing of the roads. The fixing of the roads in East St. George is like crazy now. Some have started and not going anywhere fast, but at least we can say they started. So that's one of the other things I'm going to do. Finish what was started.
Okay. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Mrs. Velox.
Good morning.
Yes, straight talk. Yes. What about the road project in Calico?
Yeah, I mentioned
project.
that. I mentioned that a while ago. I think it has come to like an abrupt end. Couple of the roads that were supposed to be given a coat of asphalt, they took it a few inches, a few feet up, and just left it at that. Now,
so what was the cost?
The last cost that I heard in Parliament earlier this month was $6 million. $6
million, and initially it was supposed to be
2.2 for 6 months.
2.2.
Yes, it started in November 2023.
Oh, Lord, I pray to God that it finish.
I hope so too, for the sake of the people of Calico. Because they waited a long time. There were people you didn't see unless there was a funeral because they didn't want to come out because of the dust factor.
Yes.
And until
that
now,
was like a punishment, man.
my office has not opened because the dust is still flying around. But I have to decide that I have to mop and sweep every single day because it's in that.
It will be a blessing
condition.
when it's finished.
Yes,
but you will finish it.
Yes. Well,
okay.
I just
right.
said that whatever is unfinished, that is one of the things that I pledge that I'm going to finish them, because you can't invest that kind of money just to leave it like that.
Okay, then. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
I think I saw somebody was calling before. All right.
All right, so the person is here now. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
No, Laverne, good morning. Laverne was saying that when she morning. Hi.
Hello,
Laverne was saying that she go out by herself alone because she need a little privacy. But when I used to go out with Fitz and the campaigning, when we go in a group, he will like when he go to the people, he will like tell them go aside so that the people can get a little privacy. So she could go in groups and do the same thing. I want you to do when
I actually went out on Thursday in a group, and it was Yeah, it was okay. But a lot of times, remember, I have time during the day. So a lot of people are not available. So I just go.
No, but whenever you get chance, when you could go in a big group and they coming close to the person who you want to speak to about your situation, to get them to vote for you, you could tell them just ease back a little bit so that the person who you're speaking to could get a little privacy.
Sure, I hear you.
To talk to you.
I hear you.
Right. And what I would like to know how much days the people get on the road when they're doing the road work.
8 days was the last one, and I think that was a couple of weeks ago. I actually spoke with them for a while, and I also baked them banana bread because there's no place up there, no shops or anything up there. So they were, and they had to get water too. And you know something I didn't realize. They had to walk with their own rakes, their own brooms, their own trays, their own weed whacker.
So do the government supply those stuff for the people?
Apparently not. Based on my information.
So when you get elected, what I want you to do to help in cabinet to extend the days to at least 15 days instead of 8, so the people will get more money into their pockets.
You know, from a personal standpoint, I think that, you know, cleaning is something that you don't clean something because it's in a state. You clean it to keep it clean. So I think, that is one way of creating some employment, you know, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When you have people, cleaning is not for Kingston alone. It's not for Kingston alone.
Right.
And you know, I'm
waiting until it get
exactly.
very bad to do.
I'm seeing too much of that going on. And like I said, when you don't clean, the bush falls, the trees, you know, branches fall, they get into the drains.
And that's how they get blockage of roads.
And that's how the roads mash up.
And sometimes I know they mash up too, and then they cause a stench in the community.
Yes.
Because
there's one
time.
right on Villa Flat that is crazy.
All right,
yeah,
Carla.
so I hope you all do good. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right.
You're welcome.
Which of the villages in your constituency has the most need or the most urgent needs?
You know, if you look at East St. George, it goes from like abject poverty to, you know, extremely affluent. Mm-hmm. So you have, you know, from both ends. But it's when you go into the constituency itself and you start walking, not driving. That's when you see the poverty. That's when you see how people live. I have been in an area and the lady said, come into my house. And it literally brought tears to my eyes because I was seeing the ground, earth. And I could not believe that in the 21st century, people are still living like that in St. Vincent with all the lumber and everything that is being given out. I mean, let's not do the divisiveness when it comes to people's, you know, living conditions. Let's just share it. Give everybody. I mean, I still have people in East St. George whose houses, you know, were damaged during burial. They're still in shelters. They're supposed to leave on the 14th of next month. But they have no place to go because it's been over a year. Their light has been cut. Their water has been cut. If even they take material there now, they then have to wait and go and reapply for connections, for light and water. We have to make it easier for them. We have to put things in place to make people's lives easier. All this red tape at a time when people not in a good mental state, having to leave their homes, to live in some place with a lot of other people that by now they're family, I suppose. And then on top of that, you have a card, you get no money on the card. You check on it, it's like send the fool a little further. And then on top of that, you get no food. I mean, how does this happen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
All right, so Ms. Velox, we need to wrap up this morning's interview, but we're going to have to ask you to come back here because there are some other questions. But You got as far as I think to point 2 within terms
I got to
of
point 3 because I
point
said
three.
I
Let
was
me
going
hear.
to finish all those
Infrastructure.
things.
Wait, go ahead. That's infrastructure, sports. What was the third one?
I think I said I was going to finish all the projects
Oh,
that
okay, all right,
that were left undone.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know who's going to be the Minister of Tourism, but in Eastern George, we need to take tourism more seriously. We do. I mean, it's all good and well to talk tourism, but if the tourism is not bringing in the dollars, and I think the difference is nightlife.
Mhm.
We don't have a lot of nightlife. I mean, I grew up in an era of aquatic club and all these places and, you know, having a good time, good, clean fun. And up to Friday night, I was going home from a meeting and I saw so many cars on the Villa stretch. And I asked if there's a fete someplace and I realized that people just go to eat. So I mean, we need some nightlife. So that is one of the things we're going to encourage, and this is where young people come in. This is their forte, you know, where they are encouraged, you know, because we're going to be reintroducing the development bank. It's just going to make not prime, you know, the development bank where you're going to have monies available, you know, for low interest that people can borrow so they could start businesses. Then number 5. I'm bringing back culture pot.
Okay.
But it is near and there. Don't tell me it's not a fete.
No, it ties into
no,
the
but
tourism push.
the thing with culture pot, yes, is that the idea is to marry it with the fishing industry in Caliacua.
Okay.
So you marry it with that. So and it's another avenue for people to have fun. Now, and it's another income stream for the people in the area. So, you know, these are the things. But by the time I come back, you'll have 10 more.
Lovely. This is what we want to hear. All right. So
yeah, that's it. So we've come to the end of our interview with Mrs. Laverne Gibson-Velox.
Half interview. I'm coming back, remember?
Yeah, well, I was about to say
she had a series of interviews with you.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. So we've come to the end of the first interview with Mrs. Laverne Gibson-Velox here this morning as part of our political conversation series. Mrs. Velox is the East St. George candidate for the New Democratic Party in our upcoming elections. Thank you for joining us here today. All the best.
Thank you so much for having me. I actually enjoyed being here today. And, you know, women interviewing you is a little different. It's a little different. But it was really great being here. Thank you for having me. And I'll be happy to come back at any time.
Lovely.
Right.